This is Support is Sexy, episode 163, How to Process and Ponder Failure. Welcome to Support is Sexy. I'm your host, Elayne Fluker, entrepreneur, author, and founder of Chic Rebellion Media. 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, I interview inspiring women entrepreneurs who share their wins and their lessons to help you take your business and your life to the next level and create something sexy. Here we go. Hi, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Support is Sexy. I'm so excited to have you here. You know, it just would not be the same without you. So today we are continuing our series on failure. And in the first two episodes in the series, we talked about 1, not letting fear of failure before it even happens stop us from trying something new before we even get started. That was on episode 161. We also talked about redefining what failure means to you and what it says about you, and the importance of adjusting your mindset around failure. That was episode 162. So today we're going to talk about how you process and ponder failure. In a recent interview on the Tony Robbins podcast, Tony interviewed General McChrystal and spoke with him at one point about the value of failure, which most people miss. Tony said, and I quote, "When people succeed, they tend to party, and when they fail, they tend to ponder," end quote. So today, what I want to do is challenge you to think about how you process and ponder failure. Think about it. Does it knock you down and keep you down? We all know the heroes aren't the ones who never get knocked down, right? The heroes are the ones who keep getting back up again and again and again. But here's the thing. While you are down, because, of course, there's going to be some failures that knock the wind out of your sails and knock you down. But while you are down, how are you processing that failure? Are you thinking, damn it, I'm such an idiot? Are you thinking, how could I let this happen? And no judgment, as we say, no beat ups here, no judgment. I've been there. But if that's you and you've had any thoughts like that, anything even close to that, I beg you, stop, please. No good can come of thinking like that. And I understand the tendency to do that, but do not think that way. Do not beat yourself up. Instead, take some time to process and ponder and ask yourself empowered questions related to that failure. So as opposed to, I'm such an idiot, how did I mess that up? Try, what will I do better next time now that I've learned this hard lesson? In fact, let's do what I call a process and ponder exercise. Grab your journal or a piece of paper and a pen if you're not driving, of course. If you're driving, just think about it and go back and write this down later. But if not, grab a piece of paper and a pen. Of course, you can do this in your phone. I'm a writer. I'm a journal girl. I love a good journal. So if you have pen and paper, let's try that. All right, you ready? Start with this. Write down, what did I go after recently that I feel like I failed at accomplishing? Now, this doesn't have to be a quote unquote big goal or something that anyone else even knows about. This is something that you view as an area or goal where you have failed or you are failing in your life, your business, your relationship, wherever. Write that down. What did I go after recently that I feel like I failed at accomplishing? Be honest with yourself. No one else is going to see this. This is just for you. All right, next, write down the top 3 ways I feel like I failed to accomplish this goal. Now, you might be asking, only 3? Yeah, only 3, because this is not meant to be a running list of how you screwed up. You already have that list going in your head. Having only 3, your top 3, helps you resist focusing on the minutia or trivial mistakes and details that really probably wouldn't even have made a difference or been pivotal to your success anyway. So we want you to focus on your top 3. You want to process and ponder those things that, if you had known better, you believe they would have made a big difference as to whether or not you were successful at this or not. So get your top 3. All right, you got it? Next, write down the top 3 lessons I learned from this failure. This is different than the top 3 ways you may have failed. This is what you learned in the process. So say, just as an example, you hosted a one-day pop-up event for your boutique and you had plenty of friends and family and social media followers say they plan to attend when you sent the blast out a week earlier. Maybe you sent an email blast or flyers or whatever you did. Everybody said they were coming when you sent it a week ago. Yet on the day of the event, few people showed up. And later when you surveyed them and asked them what happened, they told you they simply forgot, even though you told them a week prior, and they vowed to come. So what you may write down is that you failed to get people to your pop-up event, but the lesson may be that people have the tiniest memories because we're so inundated with so much information. So people can't remember anything these days. And even with the best intentions, they still need constant reminders. So that is your lesson. All right, you got that? So write those down, the lessons that you learn from these top 3 failures. Lastly, write down the top 3 things that you will do differently next time. You're not going to stay in the space of thinking about what you did wrong. You're going to use it to help you move forward and think about what you will do better next time. It's time to process and ponder the future because this failure ain't stopping you. You are moving forward. And when you know better, you do better. So what will you have on your do better list? In sticking with the pop-up event, for example, now that you know that people need a few last-minute reminders, you may have a note that says something like, send a reminder out the day before my event and the day of my event to not only remind people, but to catch them in the moment while they're out and about shopping. Plus, be sure to have a plan for social media coverage on the day of event so we can get the interest of people who didn't even know about it in advance. That's just one example, but of course you do whatever comes to you once you process and ponder this failure and think about the ways to move forward. But this whole exercise is just one example of a healthy way to process your failures, one that allows you to go back to shore, rechart your course, and set sail again toward your dream. Now, in the next part of our series on failure, we'll talk about what's on the other side of failure and how to get there. For more episodes of the Support is Sexy podcast, including previous episodes here about failure in our failure series, go to supportissexypodcast.com. And until then, as always, thank you so much for listening. I'm so happy to have you here. And until next time, go out there and create something sexy. And I'll talk to you soon. Take care.